Hi, I'm Tracy Hall, and today I'm going to talk a little bit more about some things we think are important as we're creating the middle school at Rock Prairie Montessori School. Some of you've probably heard the term 21st century skills. I think it's a bit of a buzzword now, but I also think that what it refers to is important when we consider how to support young people in developing the skills they need to go out in the world and be successful at whatever it is they want to pursue. So what are 21st century skills? You can go online and you can find long lists, but there's also this kind of shorthand for thinking about it that we think of as the 4 C's. So there's 4 areas that people think are really important as young people are developing skills. And those areas are communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. Now, those are much broader um, ideas than whether or not you know what happened in 1862. However, we need to think about education differently than we did when we were going through school, 30, 40 years ago. There was a time when there was a chunk of knowledge that we felt like if when you go through the public school system, if you learn this chunk of knowledge, then when you go out and interact with other people, you're going to have this common understanding that you can share with one another and work from. Well, the pace of information, the growth of information has accelerated so much that it's just not possible for any one of us to know all there is to know in order to have that commonality. So instead, we're thinking about what are the skills that are necessary so that you can find what you need to know in any given situation, and so that you can engage successfully with other people in whatever the work is that you want to do, because we also don't know what kind of work the young people today are going to end up doing. Jobs that are happening today weren't even something we considered being work, 15 or 20 years ago. So those 4 C's I talked about, I'm going to just touch on each one and how we see it being developed in our program. So critical thinking, we talk about adolescents being risk takers, and what I want to encourage is that they be intellectual risk takers, that they engage with big ideas and big questions. They often come into learning situations and say, why does this matter? And so I want to make sure that we're asking them the big questions where they can keep coming back and saying, oh, I guess this is why this matters. And these are how these different ideas are connected. Or this is, I'm not sure how much I think this is valid and I'm going to question it. So critical thinking skills. Creativity, anything that we engage with the students, we're going to ask them to take what they're learning and then shift it around and come up with some new way to apply what they've learned. So that requires creativity. We also certainly have independent work happening in the environment, but there's a lot of collaboration that happens. And we are certainly setting ground rules with them about how to collaborate and what is a successful way to both move forward with someone that you agree with and also to move through conflict with someone so you can get something done together. And the last one is communication, which although communication is important in collaboration, we're also talking about all the ways that we want them to be able to communicate. So how do I write something that's, maybe it's a 5-paragraph essay, but there's so many other ways to communicate now. So how do I create an infographic that will capture someone's attention? What if I need to send an email to someone? How about if I need to fill out a job application? What are the appropriate types of tones to take depending on where I'm communicating and who I'm communicating with? We think that's all very integral to what they'll be learning while they're engaged together at Rock Prairie. And we feel that this kind of engagement with learning is what's going to help them have the 21st century skills they need to be successful in the world.